Sunil, myself, and Ramesh, anything in common as far as the curriculum goes in life. Totally different. Very different.
That's how you have stayed on. I did was in every other day, and I had nothing to do with it. So, I was same spaces, share same spaces with two women that I have also grown on. So, very difficult to do.
I tolerated his haikus for a period of time, and then I took it.
You guys are talking behind my back. Okay, we are getting started. Big welcome. Sneha, start the show.
Yeah.
Very good morning to one and all present here. I am Sneha R, President of Zest, the English Literary Society of the Department of English, Dean Dalupate College, University of Delhi. I'm honored to have been given the opportunity to welcome you all to this international workshop, Post-Pandemic World, Reevaluating Valuation. Speakers are Professor Jonathan Arek, who's an Andrew M. Lennon Professor of English at the University of Pittsburgh. He's the director of PITT's Humanities Center. So I would like to welcome you, sir. I would like to welcome Professor Chandrasekhar Mayanan. He's the adjunct professor at Western University College of Pharmacy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Arizona. I would like to welcome Professor J. Prasad, who's a retired professor from Center for English.
There's something wrong with the audio. There's something wrong with the audio, maybe there's something wrong with my connection.
No. It's something wrong with the audio.
Yeah, because you're breaking up very quickly.
Yeah, very choppy.
Sir, am I audible? Ma'am?
Your voice is breaking.
Your internet connection may not be strong.
So, I have a suggestion. Are you on a Zoom link, Sneha? But, the internet connection is faulty.
Maybe if you can switch off the video and press the on.
Am I audible now?
Yes,
Okay.
much better.
So, I would like to welcome Professor J.J. Prasad, who is a retired professor from Center for English, Jawaharlal Nehru University. I would like to welcome Sunil Tandon. He's a former IAS officer and former president and CEO of GMR Infrastructure. And we have two of our alumni, Jagrati Gupta and Mehul Rawat. So Jagrati Gupta is currently teaching at Netaji Subhash University of Technology. And Mehul Rawat, he is an assistant professor at the Department of English, Graphic Era, Hill University. So I'd like to welcome all the speakers, and we are so thankful to all of you that you took time off your busy schedule and you've come here. You've joined us here. I would also like to welcome Dr. Rohit P., our teacher in charge. Am I still audible?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to welcome Dr. Rohit P., the teacher in charge, Dr. Pramesh Ratnakar, Dr. Anubhav Mukherjee Singh, Dr. Anand Saxena, Mr. Ranveer Kumar and Dr. Pooja Bhaskar Sharma. I would like to welcome all the attendees of today's workshop. So, thank you so much for being with us. And before beginning, I would like to request all of you to kindly deter from indulging in any activity which will cause disturbance to the workshop and the speakers. And this is being streamed live on the Zest YouTube channel, so I would request all of you to kindly share the links with your friends and acquaintances. So I would now like to hand over the platform to Dr. Pramesh Ratnakar. Sir, please.
Thank Thank you, Sneha. A big welcome to all of you and a very big welcome to all of you as well. This workshop is one of its kind because let me tell you how it originated. Somewhere in the department meeting, we were talking about examinations, and one of our younger colleagues, Mr. Ranveer, brought it up, and he kind of said that the students are facing some strange kind of fear this time because they are going to be giving they will be giving offline exams, and the kind of fear they have is something different from the kind of thing that they had earlier because they've just recovered from COVID and all that. So we got talking about it, and the problem was named, and ultimately we thought of a solution, and the solution was, let's get the students to examine the brightest and the most sort of the best writers that we know. So, right at the pinnacle of sort of literary criticism is Professor Jonathan Marek, and he has written an answer to the examination which we set. And that answer has been analyzed, commented upon, marks by our first and second year students. And the kind of marks they've got, Jonathan, you are in for trouble. And the results are going to be out today. That's the workshop today. We'll talk about the examination process. We'll talk about what they felt like giving. That was my contribution to the whole.
Can't hear you properly.
You can't hear me. Is it? Let me check the mic.
No, the podium mic is on, sir. It's not a problem. The problem is with the laptop mic.
Connection. Net is not stable over here. Internet is not. It's just not fixed.
Put sir the phone microphone. Okay, Sneha.
Okay, here we go. Once again.
So she has went to the community center.
The idea was we decided to do it re-evaluate evaluation. That actually not just re-evaluation, we are recasting evaluation. And on two fronts. One is how to write examination answers so that you feel more confident about it. And other front is how to tackle the kind of stress and tension that diseases the pandemic has given or left us on our minds, the imprint that it has left in our minds. So we deliberately chose the text, the kind of examination which the panelists have written answers to, which had to do with the ailment and with me fighting that ailment, Parkinson and so on. And the answers, all these people have written out answers. And all the answers have been looked at by the first and second year students. They commented upon it. And let me show you one page just now for the sake of it. We'll put it up on the screen, and you'll see one page, and then we'll take it up a little later. But can we have someone? Can I ask all of you to? You guys have met each other, all of you, or do I need to introduce you now?
The answer sheet.
Before I show you the page, can we?
So Professor Art needs to be introduced, reintroduced, because there was some connection problem that time. I would like somebody to introduce Professor Jonathan Art.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. But it's an unusual name and nobody gets it right.
That's right. Since something went wrong with the audio, so we could not hear it. Since something.
Ramesh, you turn mute if you're trying to talk.
I will introduce myself just to say that I have recently retired from having been professor of English at the University of Pittsburgh, where in 2008 I founded the Humanities Center, which I directed until my retirement.
Oh, fantastic. Very nice. My niece is there in University of Pittsburgh right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
what does she do?
Is in there. She is a faculty of psychiatry, yeah. She is a psychiatrist. Yeah. Her husband is a cardiologist and she is a psychiatrist.
We have a great medical center.
No, I know.
No, you know.
And my brother is a psychiatrist himself. So we have a whole lot of nervous system imbalance going on here. Oh. So Ramesh, what's up, man? You're shifting from one week to another week. What's going
So
on?
you have met Professor Jonathan now. And Professor Jonathan has met Jagriti and Mehul and Sunil. Now,
Ramesh, can I request you, Ramesh, can I request you one thing? There is a speaker which is on in the same room. Can you put down that one that's echoing along whatever you're saying?
Rajkumar here is in the computer center now, so hopefully things will be better now. Rajkumar, we are okay now. Good. As I was saying, we have reversed roles, and we've got, you guys are going to get your results today, and the examiners will present their arguments, and let's see how you react to that. The real significance of the workshop is simply this, that exams can be enjoyed, believe it or not, they can be enjoyed, and if you learn from things like academic, afford to be nervous about the exam. That's the basic lesson that we want to get across through the workshop. Would you like to share a little bit about what happened when you read each other's answers? And maybe what it felt like to be. Anyone, Sunil, you want to start?
That is how I actually have approached most of the exams which I have taken throughout my life, even in school and college. Exams were more of fun rather than I had was when I was taking my exams to become a doctor, and I could never qualify for that. And years in life are when I seriously took an exam for all the stress and the tension. Can you please do it now? Yeah. In my life was twice, because twice I took exam for the combined pre-medical tests, as they were called, CPMT in those days, and I failed in both the exams. And those were the exams which I was very tensed about. Those were the exams which I really took as an exam. And apart from that, throughout my life, even when I sat for and I took the IAS exams, I never bothered whether, because I was already a lecturer in the University of Delhi, I was enjoying my life, and I never could care whether I joined the IAS or not. It was a challenge even to me by the principal of my college who said, all guys who do not enter the IS come and become lecturers here in my campus. So, as a, so that was also another challenge I took that on. And the exams were never felt like, except those two occasions I mentioned.
Sharat is not going
So
to
the
join.
secret I found, writing what comes to your mind and your heart, uh, without really worrying about what ultimately would happen. You tend to do far better in life, whether it's for a written exam, whether it's for a particular degree, or there are so many other exams in life. And that's why I could relate to what Ramesh has mentioned in this video. That exams, that he's taking even PD as a game. And if you take it as a game, enjoy the game, and move forward in life, I don't think anybody can stop you in life.
Uh, that was
We can't hear you, Ramesh.
yeah, you can hear me now. I've just been unmuted. See, just for Jonathan's information, IAS is one of the toughest exams to crack in India. And to the extent that Sunil cracked it, he'll be a master of exams. And when he tells you, all of you, that you will do better if you do not stress yourself out. But the big question is, how do we not stress ourselves? Easier said than done. And one of the ways which we tried out to sort of de-stress our students is this workshop. And let's take this to the next level. The idea of playing, when we play with something, we sort of take away the kind of a significance which is being attached to it by others and so on. Play is always something which you enjoy doing for the sake. And exams and writing of answers and so on, if you learn to express yourself, if you learn to put your own agendas into the answers and so on, you will always have a better understanding and a better deal from the exams. I am going to ask some of the students, we have half an hour, some of the students to read out their comments about the answers that you have written. And the idea is, once again, reversal of a major kind. And the kind of insights they have got into your answers is something, I'm very surprised by that. And some very powerful statements and very, very wonderful thoughts. One of the things I would love you guys, panelists, to react to this. Do we kill our students' creativity when we frame our examination, the way we frame our questions, the way we frame the way we structure our exams? Jonathan would be a good person to talk about this, because he told me he ensured all through his learning days not to give exams by taking on courses where there were no exams.
I said that I would love to hear what some of this we have written for them.
Right. Shekhar Mayanel Saab, will you say something about your career as an examinee?
The examinee and the yeah, both sides I will talk. So I'll talk more recently because the students will get benefited out, and it is basically teachers' responsibility to de-stress the students. That is, it is not the students' responsibility to de-stress themselves. Somehow they get this false notion that somebody is going to evaluate them, judge them. That is the biggest fear, actually. When I was teaching neuropharmacology in Glendale, online actually, it was all online. It was University College of Pharmacy, professor in National Institute of Mental Health, and what meeting we had was the chairman used to say, well, you know what, it's very difficult these days because everything is online, the exam is online, and we have to make sure that the students don't cheat. And because that's what is happening, that even though the exams are online, they still have cheat sheets everywhere. So what we do with that? I said that's the problem of the teacher, which allows them all kind of cheating. In fact, let it be open book exam. Not even open book, there can be discussion on the questions, and then they can come up with an answer, because everybody's question is different. Everybody's question is different. So they can talk to each other and discuss. So why do we have to have one exam fits all? Let you become creative enough to create different kind of questions which cannot be found in the textbook, which can only be found when you have understood the stuff. So let it be open book. So that,
Allow me to interrupt.
yeah,
Uh,
yes.
I mean, Shekhar has shared his, Jonathan, you were going to say something, did we interrupt you?
I'm sorry?
Were you planning to say something?
I'm sorry?
Were you planning to say something which we stopped you from, I mean, we sort of interrupted you?
I certainly expect I will say something, but I'm so eager to learn what your students have done with the papers that they've been given.
Okay, I am going to step out and give the floor to the students now. Let me first get in, this is Abhipsha. Abhipsha, please share your comments and your insights and what you felt and what you did during the workshop.
A very good morning to everyone present here. Am I properly audible?
Yes, please.
Yes. Very good morning to everyone. Good morning to our dear professors and honored guests. I am Abhipsha Vishwas and I'm from first year. So, yesterday we conducted a session where Professor he introduced us to his essay and story of the struggles and how he has been dealing in different ways with his Parkinson's disease. And then he handed us some papers and showed us a question sheet. And a lot of the students were a little bit perplexed and confused as to what these papers are and what are we supposed to do. We have our entire lives, I'm 19, so all 19 years of my life I have been a student and I have been the one to be examined. And as an examined, I would say both perplexed, surprised, and a little that I have had the chance to examine someone else. And since I'm just a 19-year-old student, obviously the way I have marks in the papers are not accurate or as well as a professor does. But I enjoyed this small exercise and this is how I graded the papers. So I divided my grading system into 4 parts. One is critical commentary of connectivity of the 3 compositions. So there were 3 compositions, an essay, a poetry and videos. And then commentary on PD, Parkinson's disease, relating to the compositions. And then understanding of the question and mentions of improvement areas. Since the essay is a critical commentary and not just an informative commentary, I figured there should be mentions of some improvement areas in the compositions from students. So the first essay I graded is Connecting the Dots, and which is Sir Shekhar Mayan's. So of all the 4 halves that I based my grading upon, it was 5 marks each, so total marks 20. And what positive points I found in Shekhar sir's essay and answer actually is the point of views were very interesting and it was very well researched. and the discussion of Parkinson's disease's effect and relation with the human psyche was mentioned. He also mentioned the history and connection of yoga with Parkinson's disease and how yoga heals the human body without allopathic or medicinal effects. And there were personal notes for each composer, which was very interesting and I haven't found in any of the essays. It was very well organized and Sir had a very well understanding of the question. So the only negative I found in his essay is that, according to me, I found the negatives in his essay that there were not enough pointers for improvements. So based on my grading system, I graded the critical commentary as 4.5 out of 5, commentary on PD relating to the compositions 5, understanding of the question as 5, mentions 5 out of 5, and mentions of improvement areas as 3.5 out of 5. So out of a total score of 20, I scored Sir's essay as 18. The next essay I have got is, excuse me for a moment. So this is Jagriti ma'am's essay, and the first positive point I found in Jagriti ma'am's essay is it was a very systematic essay. It was a very systematic commentary. I'm sorry, am I properly audible?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So what I found interesting is that it was a very systematic commentary. It was a proper introduction, there was a proper body, and there was a proper conclusion. And it was a very well-researched matter. There was a cross-connection of interesting point of views, mentions of Achilles and a lot of other historian texts and figures. And it was very informative. The negatives I found in Jagriti ma'am's essay is that it was more informative than critical. And there was not enough questions raised. In a critical essay, and not enough mentions of areas of improvement. So the way I graded again in 4 categories. So critical commentary of connectivity was 4 out of 5. Commentary on Parkinson's disease is 4 out of 5. Understanding of the question 3.5 out of 5. And then mentions of improvement areas is 2.5 out of 5. So a total score of 14 out of 20. Next we have Jonathan Alex.
This is Professor Alex.
So this next we have Professor Arik's essay, and the interesting point I found in Professor Arik's essay, which out of the 3 essays I received, I couldn't see a particular observation of the poems, a very important improvement point, which was the poem's last line. Between the idea and the reality, between the notion and the act, falls the shadow. It was very similar to T.S. Eliot's. That is T.S. Eliot's poem, The Hollow Men. And the poem in Prometheus' article was between the wanting and the doing, between the impulse and the act. So Professor Arik pointed out how the poem could have been ended in a more powerful note, which is poetry comes to him, but not the poem. So he reinstated originality and a powerful ending as well. It was a very keen observation made. And positives I found was a lot of improvement areas were pointed upon. It was critically examined, the poem, and they were found underlying roots with T.S. Eliot. And he presented a very different conclusion and a point of view from others relating to the videos and the essay and the poem. So the negatives I found in Professor Arik's essay is mentions too many improvement areas. And there was not enough mention of Parkinson's disease and its relation with the essay and videos and the poem. And not enough positive discussion about how the 3 of them, the 3 compositions, the essay, video and the poem, are related, linked together through the idea of Parkinson's disease and living a better life. So the way I graded Professor Arik's essay in every section is it was a critical commentary as 3 out of 5, commentary on Parkinson's disease relating to the compositions 2 out of 5, understanding of the question 3 out of 5, mentions of the improvement areas 5 out of 5. So out of a total of 20, I graded this essay 13 out of 20. Thank you very much. That was how I graded my handouts that I received.
First class, 13 out of 20.
Yeah, first class. Yeah, first class.
Yay! You passed with flying colors.
Okay, now I'm going to give you one of the toughest examiners I have ever come across.
So, it is muted.
I'm going to give you one of the toughest examiners I have ever come across, and after this, maybe after listening to Nandana, we can have a conversation. Nandana, where are you?
You can do it.
First of all, good morning to all the honorable speakers.
Louder.
Good morning to all the honorable speakers and my respected professors and all the attendees who are present here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure
Good
to
morning.
meet you all. So I don't know if like Ramesh sir is kidding or not. Like he told me like I'm the toughest examiner he ever come across. Even though I didn't like fully trust it all, but I'm continuing with my grades, like what I've examined. So the first essay I've got, like the essay I marked the highest is the connecting the dots, which is by Shekhar Mainal, sir. Sir, the points I have noted in your essay, like I have marked it by paragraph and all. So I'm just going to state my points which I have stated. So I noted like use of word abbreviation, like a kind of usage we don't use in an answer sheet, like it's breve. So we don't use it in an answer sheet. As an evaluator, I said that it is not tolerable to use use of such word in an answer sheet. So then you have stated a line saying that, so what to do? You shall ask me. You would have not used that statement. You have started it like in my perspective or something in a formal exam sheet, sir. I'm really very sorry, but this is what I've noted at first. And the other thing I noted is like your paragraph. There is multiple splitting of paragraphs in an answer sheet, which would have been better when it is connectedly used and interconnected. You are doing it as a paragraph completely, but it have a lot of multiple splitting of paragraphs. And the other thing I noticed is you should have got more into the, like you have got more outside comments rather than just focusing on what the content or material which have given to us to discuss about. So rather than going to the more outside comments, you would have mostly used the content which we got to examine. And yeah, the other thing I noted in almost every exam sheet is the use of word PD as Parkinson's disease, but in an exam sheet it is not very tolerable to use PD as a thing, because we need to mention it as Parkinson's disease as well. So that is it. And the last part, sir, the very positive thing I noted is the last part of this answer sheet is very significantly stated, and like I really it was so significantly stated. The points were completely very reasonable. So I graded, like my marking was out of 100, so I graded 75 for Sir Shekhar Mainal. So the next one, the next essay I've got is I'm reading so so perplexed to actually grade this essay, because it's Professor Jonathan Arak's essay, but I graded him on 65 out of 100. The first thing I noticed, he have given a nice introduction. Actually, I really like the introduction, but the points I noted it. Like it could have been much more of the content of the videos and the material rather than putting up the personal throwbacks and memories which we have stated in the exam sheet. And the ending was good, but like he has stated a fact in the ending of the exam, like in the ending part he has stated a fact, but he would have added more of any statements or reasons to conclude the way. Like the fact he has stated is good, but he have added more reasons to state it completely. And sir, I'm really very sorry to say, you could have used more description of the content. And I've got is of Sir Chandan sir, and yeah, and I've got like he's graded up 60 out of 100. So the first thing I noted is like the first thing I've noted is like very first thing I've noted in every exam sheet is the use of PD, because it's not tolerable. Literally not tolerable in an exam sheet. You have explained it's at Parkinson's disease as well. And
Also, I noted some paragraphs which could have been better if you are given it as an introduction, where it is it's a complete paragraph connected accordingly to as an introduction, but you were you were splitting the paragraphs, and the introduction of the Ramesh sir and the disease, it were gone to so far rather than to just so far in the paragraphs. um, yeah, the thing you mentioned in the second paragraph, it was just basic introduction that you are given in the that you could have written in the first paragraph. And I've noted that in the sixth paragraph, it was a nice evaluation, but what I already said.
There is no sound is patchy. Sound is patchy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, am I audible right now?
No. Yes.
Okay. So what I've noted is it's a nice.
I agree. Try again, Nandana.
Ma'am, am I audible right now?
I'm unable through this phone. Maybe you can try.
Okay, let me
Then
try
let
to
me
Am I audible right now?
Am I audible right now?
इसका ऑडियो बंद कर दो कंप्यूटर का, इसलिए बोला मैं आपको।
So if we close computer's audio, then none of the audience will be able to hear.
नहीं, वो तो स्पीकर है, वो स्पीकर है, स्पीकर से आएगा।
So speaker से नहीं आएंगे because laptop का audio is like resonating the speaker. So we can only do that, get a better connection.
So we won't do that, we'll just talk.
Sure.
Get this up.
Try and see if you are audible.
We'll just talk.
Am I audible right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next point I noted is that the paragraph was of nice evaluation, but it could have given a better, more impact if it was written in a more elaborative way. It is explained very well, but still it have also used the exact things from the material itself. So it would have been like more elaborated in your own words. It would have been better. So I already said that I've graded 60 out of 100%. The next essay I've got is of Mehul Rawat, like our alumni.
News will lead.
Okay.
Because news is, she's marked her lowest. So I'm interrupting. That was wonderful. You got someone. You got how Nandana has operated in the. I'm running a bit short of time, so I want to quickly.
Can we hear it for Nandana first of all before you speak?
I'm going to quickly read out a couple of more. I'll do the reading because we are running short of time. Some comments that are there in the corrections that they did. This is a comment by Tavishi. Tavishi, are you here? This is Jonathan's essay, and Tavishi has criticized Jonathan's essay for the simple reason that Jonathan doesn't like videos. So the whole generational gap thing comes out, but look at the way she expresses herself. Both words and expressions of body language, for example, the facial expression, have the power to reflect the soul. While reading his words, you get an idea of his emotional and intellectual take on the disease. But when the camera zooms in on the face and how he connects with the surrounding, that is Pramesh Ratnakar, how he connects with his surroundings, both words along with his happy countenance reflect a soul so important, so vibrant, so strong, and a mind of peace and acceptance. You get to know that what he says are not mere words, he lives them. He does what he feels, he shows his pain, and he manifests the forces of the universe to expand his body and soul. To me, these two diverse things complement each and reflect the soul. And she has given Jonathan 40 out of 100. Then one more comment I'll read out. This is Pramesh sir is the embodiment of positivity, etc. And that is not to say he is despondent, sad, or morose about his life. To put it simply, there is peace in acceptance, and the poem offers both acceptance and the bliss when the struggle ends. So she's critical of Sunil's reading of the poem. And last one, Sharat is not here. That is a comment on Sharat's essay. And this one is this is a simple comment on GJVs, but I want to read out. This is the one. This is on Jagriti's essay. This has been written by Sprishti. Are you here? Not only through physical action but also through mental action, emotional. One of the most difficult things is not to let the weight, but to prep the mind up, lifting the weight, not to be buried under the weight. But another point is Mr. Ratnakar is a sports person, a teacher, but before anything, he's a human. It would have been more profound if his will as a normal human being was mentioned more. She has underlined this hallmark of a true sportsman and then put this comment. And then this is a lovely comment. Teachers who go out of their way to help the students. Jagriti has quoted that. This isn't a remark, but if Mr. Ratnakar is reading this, you remind me of Robin Williams. Yeah. Big hand to Mr. Ratnakar. I am leaving the floor to the panelists. Please take over and say whatever you feel like, and because it's difficult to coordinate from here. So, Jonathan, would you like to start?
I think that it was an extraordinary experience for me to read all of the responses of my fellow exam takers and to realize how diverse our responses could be, something that we all a particular human response to a challenge to our humanity. The rating just amplifies that experience. That is to say, so many divergent responses, so thoughtfully worked out. I actually am of submissions. It's been very illuminating for me to go through this set of exercises.
Thank you, Jonathan. Sunil, you want to say something?
So you're muted.
All take.
So you're muted.
Sunil, you want to say something?
Well, I will ditto what Professor Jonathan has said, and it was a lovely exercise, and I totally agree with him when he says that the process was very, very interesting, and I love the way the same videos and the same poem can elicit so many different responses. And what us oldies have ultimately come up with. I love the way these kids have examined it, and I must congratulate them on the great job they've done. And thank you so much. I have learned a lot from the manner in which they have put forth their points. And thank you very much, Pramesh, for involving me in this exercise.
Thank you for taking time out to write the answer.
Talk about their points.
Professor Chandrasekhar.
I think his photograph will disappear.
Yeah. So maybe, Pramesh, can we ask Jagriti and Mehul to also respond as panelists?
Jagriti and Mehul are going to give the concluding remarks to the whole thing. So I wanted to sum up everything.
I think Shekhar is back. Pramesh.
Chandrasekhar is back, yes.
Yes.
Floor is on yours.
Hi, sorry. How much? 2 minutes I finished. I really enjoyed everybody's comments that they gave on our responses to provoking, and there were very analytical people out there. I can tell you that right now. It's very important. Very nice. Anyway, so for people who are giving exams after the pandemic, don't stress too much. I'll give you a brief. The biggest challenge that people face is fear of failure, right? Any kind of fear is basically the mother of all fear is the fear of death. So why we fear the exams? Because we feel that if we fail, then we will not get a job. If we don't get a job, we will not be able to feed whosoever are responsible to be fed. We can't pay mortgage, so we will die. So that's so eventually all the fear leads to death only, right? So let's clear up this whole misconception about death. Death is the biggest lie in the world. There is nothing as the worst lies we have been fed and told throughout ages. There is no such thing as death. Now, you'll say, what about the body which dies? No, the body was never living to start with. There is something which made it alive, right? So the embodied made the body alive, and embodied never dies, and body was never living, so how can it die? So there is no such thing as death. Now, again, as a matter of energy, let's say if you have studied thermodynamics in your life, you will say that everything is energy. It can be converted from one form to another form. It is the death of the form, but that's all. Stuff never dies. So, from that angle also, you will see that death is a false concept forced upon us, right? So anyway, so that's where. But how do you go about removing the fear now? Fear is real for some people, right? It was real for me too, long time ago. Then I understood because of my own understanding in neurosciences, it's there. So let's talk about why fear causes paralysis, neurodegeneration, inflammation, all kind of disease because of fear, right? So fear has to be taken care of first. So now with fear what happens, there is an increase in cortisol level, big huge increase in cortisol. And that cortisol, the first target is immune system. The first target is not the immune system which starts. So with the faulty immune system, inflammation happens.
One of the advantages of being
Yeah, I can hear you.
one of the advantages of being an old friend is you let the professor enough is enough. Let's call it a minor before you go further into the details of fear and the details of the mind, because Maynard is a neuroscientist. So he knows the inner workings of the brain and how and where it goes. And once he starts, you can't stop him. Unless you are a rude monster like me. So, Manan, I'm finishing. I wanted to sort of end it by 11:10, so I'm just stopping.
Good.
So, we'll leave it at that. And now I want Jagriti and Mehul to step in. I thought of them as sort of bridges between the first years, second years, third years, and between the
Okay.
So, please give your inputs about or your thoughts or your reactions to what you have been through, and how will it help you, or how will you, as young teachers, as students of literature, as people who are, as I said, building bridges between the two generations. Floor is yours. Jagriti, Mehul.
A lot of applause for our alumni who have chosen to teach. very few young people now get into teaching.
Thank you.
And so it's all yours, decide who speaks first.
Okay, so very quickly, I would like to talk about the act of writing for a very short while. So, all this exercise was
And so it's all yours, decide who speaks first.
so since we have become really an examiner, then I always have this observation that whenever exam scripts are turned into me, I find them very much same because all of the students have a set objective idea of what grading will be like. So they turn in a set type of answer script, and all the answers seem the same to me. And with this exercise that Prameshwar has done, like it was a very little breath of fresh air. I found very diverse type of writing. Um, and even a good act of handwriting. This is movement to move. And I would like to say done in their own side and right out of their own heart. So yeah, we can learn. That would be my key takeaway. And also the fact that when we are writing, it's a very powerful medium. Even students who are young to literature, if they can write well and very good in speech, they can back it over here and mark them for and provided that they provide it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So as far as I'm concerned, when Professor was shared the idea of this experiment, I was reminded of several experiments that I did in church, and as interesting as what I did in church found, if not more. And I was reflecting on all this and while hearing the students and thinking about more questions for vocabulary writing. It raises questions on very nature of quote unquote academic writing and how do we perceive while they were creating the Professor Dawkins' essay, for example, was how he has not dealt with some parts of the text. That is what they mentioned. And that also raised another question in my mind as to is it ever possible for us to deal with all parts of the text? Can we ever deal with the text in its entirety? So these were some of the questions that were running in my mind. And as of the experiment, I absolutely enjoyed being a part of this, and I'm really glad and grateful that I got to be a part of this exercise that we just did. So thank you so much for having me here today. I'm really,
We have one person who is a specialist in rounding off seminars and conversations and so on. That's Anubha. 1 minute, Anubha, for you to round off and then we'll call it a day. I'll just read out one passage from another comment by a student after Anubha and then we'll call it a day. This also is an art form which Anubha delivers. Anubha, please, your floor.
Okay, you were looking for a comment to, so maybe you can add it to when you find it. So a great thank you to all the panelists and all the students who are attending this exercise. It's very interesting how the teacher became the topic and the subject of an exercise. So I have this individual reservation about it because we as teachers, sorry for the flight overhead, at least the world has started moving now. So our indoctrination as teachers have been we don't talk about ourselves, how we evolved, how we grew. But the pandemic has taught us how we are struggling with the pandemic as teachers, as academia. Why can't we bring to the center stage which impacts everybody's lives? And by Jagriti talking talks about how we see academia now, I think it has taken a shift where in the beginning I said how the boundaries of the personal and the professional has collapsed. The empathetic space that we are providing to voices through the pandemic to tackle the fear Professor Emmanuel talks about. How do we tackle the fear? One of the ways we were doing it pandemics, and that remains while we deal with the future pandemics of the world. Let that be a topic how academia would like to engage with, and the students engage with, in building empathetic and fearless communities. Thank you so much, Professor Jonathan Arnott, Professor Chandrasekhar Mayanil, Sunil Chandran, and Jagrati and Mehul, and all of you who are attending it offline, Dr. Anand Saxena, Dr. Pramesh Ratnakar, who would love to say that he is Pramesh, he is a creator, and he is the initiator of it all. So we give you the floor, Pramesh.
Okay, I have taken the floor and this is the last bit.
In order to wind this webinar. Thanks to all of you.
Okay, I am reluctant as I am to let go of all of you. This is the last bit. Just the last paragraph written by a student.
Online. Yes, Abhisha.
Now read it out.
So Ramesh sir asked me to read out an essay, a small part, a small comment, then another student graded. Zindagi imtihan behti hai is a very good start.
Leti hai.
Sorry. Zindagi imtihan leti hai is a very good start. Life is of trials and tribulations. It will always be. But is what we make of it. Treating something deliberately as a game excites you instead of making you despondent and morose. However, there is no game that lasts forever. Every game has to end, and I think Sun knows and accepts that. But to see him fighting every day, game or not, is inspirational in itself. He does not engage in self-pity, and while there are pauses in a poem, Sir does not stop. He doesn't want to. The cliff does not signify the end for him. He'll walk. No, he'll run as long as there is breath in his lungs and the spirit of the universe is in his soul. What more can we want from life? And is it true that it is true that he always has been a teacher because he's taught me a lot today and solved my musings and questions unknowingly, and he'll continue to do that for others like me. It was a commentary by Tanishi Sharma.
That makes it, doesn't it? Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That we managed to make it happen. Thanks for participating.
Thank you. Bye.
No one gives up, you all fight.
Thank you, Dr. Sen, Dr. Arak, Jagrati, Mehul, Sunil. Sunil, sir. We're speaking of.
Thank you, thank you. This has been really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like this should happen.
And you know what? Next time we need to have a better internet connection or better camera so that it doesn't move. The camera should be static, and that's important. Those are the few pointers I would like to say, that to have a good Zoom meeting, it's always a great idea to have a good steady camera where big and wide angle camera, maybe it will be working. I think I have this particular camera sitting on my desktop here. This has a wide angle and it is working sharp up. Everything is great. So it's too expensive. And I have it on sitting on the thing. So next time I would appreciate Ramesh if you get this from the university. That will be great.
Shekhar, why doesn't the University of Chicago do something? Why don't you, University of Chicago, organize something and we'll all join in? You'll have better equipment and we'll participate.
But you
No,
still
no,
have
the
so
thing
you
is
still
not.
can't participate, Ramesh, if your Zoom link is not proper.
I know.
And whether you have fiber optics, whether you have fiber optics or whether it's again through I don't know what means. But yes, the connection needs to be showed up.
Yeah,
Definitely.
some booster has to be put there.
Yeah.
Jonathan, last word.
Look,
Jonathan,
Last
nobody's
word
ending.
is-
You better wrap it up,
No,
otherwise
no,
you won't be able to sleep.
last word is for the students. My experience in the private sector, what they are learning is invaluable because I have seen presidents of companies and CEOs of companies who can't write 4 straight lines properly. And it's a skill which is very, very highly needed and valued, especially out there in the market. So what they are learning is absolutely phenomenal and they'll do very well in life. I can assure you of that. Whether you get 40 marks out of 100 or if you know how to write well, if you know how to write well, you're there in the market because there's such a paucity of skills there in the market. And I've seen people drawing fast salaries of 1 crore rupees who can't write 4 straight lines.
I'm still learning that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great skill which the children have.
I think the analytical aspects of children is just praiseworthy, no doubt.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Thank you, take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you all the kids. Thank you, Dr. Seth.
Thank you, everybody. It was such a nice meeting.
Big hand to all of us.
Good night, good morning, whatever.
Good morning, good night.
Jonathan, thank you for staying up. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much for coming.
On behalf of Zest, etc.
So, now I would like to invite Nandana Priya, the Vice President of Zest, to propose the vote of thanks.
Nandana, use the microphone. So that everyone I, Nandana PR, Vice President of Zest, the English Literary Society with the Department of English, Deepdale Upadhyay College, University of Delhi, deem it a great honor and privilege to be here today for today's session, Post-Pandemic World, Re-Evaluating Evaluation. And it's so rewarding to be here today for this session with the eminent speakers, Professor Jonathan Arak, Professor Chandrasekhar Mainal, Professor G.J.V. Prasad, Mr. Sharat Srinivas, Mr. Sunil Tandon, and our alumni, Ms. Jagrati Gupta and Mr. Mehul Rawat. We have learned a great deal and are obliged to all our speakers. Thank you all for joining us. I would like to thank our teacher in charge, Dr. Rohit P., and all other faculty members for being there with constant support and guidance in every step of the way. I would like to thank Sudhakar sir and Rajkumar sir from the Computer Center for always being there to help us. And we would like to thank Raveen sir for helping us out. This workshop wouldn't have been happened without your help and support. In addition to that, last but not the least, I would like to thank the Zest team members who have undoubtedly worked so hard to make this event a success. All the ones present here, thank you.
So much for attending, everyone. We hope that you will be with us for all the other events. Thank you. Certificates will be provided, and it is based on the attendance list which is circulated. Thank you.
PA program students, write down your names while you leave because you'll be.
After we already did.
You already.
Yes.
Sneha.
Thank you so much. So we'll be ending the meeting.
I mean, not. Oh my god.
Excuse me.